There is no doubt that there's been a sea change in everyone's awareness of green issues. And I think without a doubt, in the world of HKS, and we're doing resort development and resort design and master planning, we're seeing more and more emphasis on thoughts about designing for the environment, what we're doing with water, how we're using water, and even the wellness of the buildings, zero carbon, the materials we're using, where we're sourcing those materials for. And there are one or two resorts in the tour group. There's the wellness villas that they have at PGA Catalunya, which I think is a really exciting initiative, recognizing that we need natural light. Natural light is good. Having plants around the house is good. Where does your power come from? And the issues associated with environmental design and sustainability are much higher on the list of requirements now for investment in beautiful resort development. With regard to the increased focus on sustainable development and green development, there's a push and a pull. There is no doubt that there's an increase in investors and developers and equity firms now wanting to be able to stand up and say that their investments are giving it due consideration. And buyers, individual buyers for properties, there's a growing awareness and consciousness of the need to tick those boxes. And that is pulling it in a specific direction. At the same time, without a doubt, we're seeing more legislation, which is forcing it down that road. So between the push and the pull, I think we are heading one way. But it does inevitably depend on the sophistication of your market. But in most markets now, it's coming up the agenda. This trend will continue, without a doubt. We're all more conscious than ever of our footprint on the landscape. The solutions are there to help us deal with it. It might cost us a little bit more to do that, but in the long term, we know that it's the right thing to do. And people are more willing to spend a little bit more, maybe, to go down that road. But I think at the same time, we also need to be conscious of the fact that there are alternatives out there. At its lightest, that could be a super cool safari tent or an Airstream, a super cool Airstream. These things can be removed from the landscape, but they give the guest the opportunity of having a quirky, interesting, different, quite often reasonably sustainable alternative to staying in a beautiful hotel. So maybe if you're here in the lovely hotel for 4 nights, maybe your 5th night, you'd go out and stay in something a bit quirky, because that helps to create memories. And there's more focus now than ever on people wanting an experience to take home and take with them. And the idea of creating memories with our friends and family and colleagues is more important than ever. And some of those alternative light touch solutions are great in terms of revenue, and they're great in terms of demand. So give them a thought.